left. And I'm very proud of myself because I never used to make PowerPoints, and I did the first one. My kids do it for me. But anyways, so what's the moral of the story? There's always an opportunity to learn. All right. You just have to do it. All right. Anyways, I think it's very relevant because we are in the sales business to be able to have certain characteristic traits that will make you successful in business. Okay. But the very first one I put it, number one is you got to care. I emphasize this in all of my talks, right? When you care about your clients, it will resonate, right? You can't fake it. When you care, you can't fake it till you make it. That's not the way it is, right? You have to really care. So I know with Primerica, we don't sell trash value, right? That in itself speaks volumes of the company itself, all right? We will always put our clients' best interest at heart, always, okay? Do you provide education? But how do you provide education if you don't even know the products yourself? You gotta know the products. If you, on the start, I think they have that YouTube, we have that YouTube channel that you just scan it, just go on it. I mean, there's a lot of training on there about products. Do you know the difference between a term and the two permanent policies? You have samples, right? Those are very compelling things that you can show to your clients, right? They have a whole life. Oh, well, I have a whole life. And they're thinking that they're really going to get the money. I had a client literally that was looking for she was looking for a long-term care insurance, but her agent gave her a whole life insurance with a long-term care rider. She's already retired. Her and her husband are paying over $1,800 a month. And they just paid off their mortgage. So the husband got pissed off and said, we just paid our mortgage and now you're going to get this, right? So anyways, what happened with that was when she sent me the policy, when I read it, her death benefit was $72,000. Oh my God. And it actually says there, if she just pays for 10 years, she will get $72,000. Well, duh, you calculate 11, basically $934 a month, $1,200 per person, $1,800 times, how much is that? That's per person, right? Right, $934. That's like over $207,000, and they're only going to get $72.72. What? Of course, they're going to give you back your money, but they're going to keep the rest of it. Yeah. Right. So show empathy, and again, you can't fake empathy, right? You always have to put yourself in their shoes. Because I'll be damned if somebody sold me that trash. Listen carefully. Listen to what they really need, right? Sometimes, if you talk over your clients, that's like they don't want to do business with you. You got to listen to them first, hear what their needs are, see what they have, and move forward, right? And that way you can address their questions, their concerns appropriately. Focus. All right. I know that it's easy to get distracted with social media because sometimes it happens to me too, but I'm sure that I've produced that day. I've done something for myself in the business. Stay focused, always set goals. Like, Samir, I always tell you my goals, this is my income goal. I have a lot of room for improvement because, I haven't quite met my recruiting goals, but I'm working on that, right? You got to set your goals. I still want to recruit 10 people a month. Have I gotten there? I've done it one time. But that doesn't mean that's going to set me back. I'm going to still set that same goal every month until I hit it, but I want to hit it consistently. Okay? Act with a purpose, right? You want to talk to people with a purpose, but you're always going to have good intentions anyways, right? You're always going to want to help people honestly, right? And also, you don't want to just, have these conversations that are meaningless, right? You want to move your business forward, act with a purpose, be intentional about it, and be persistent. Do you think I don't get objections? I get plenty of objections, but I don't care. Because at the end of the day, it's not you that's losing. It's not me that's losing. You are losing. You're not investing. You don't have a Roth IRA. You don't want to protect your family. That's on you. At least I was the one who provided the education, and now I'm creating that down, right? You have to be very persistent. I told you like last week when I had this client that I talked to 2 years ago. And all of a sudden out of the blue, he calls me, he goes, I'm ready for insurance. And I was like, who is this? Right? It was a referral. 2 years later, be persistent. At some point, something's going to happen. If they say no, then something's going to happen. People die every day. Not to sound negative, but it does happen. That's life. Sometimes it has to happen to them. Unfortunately, something bad sometimes has to happen to people for them to start paying attention and do what they need to do. You have to have this. You have the ability to network. Okay. Social media. I'm big on Facebook. I don't know. I'm trying Instagram, but I'm not really successful yet. But Facebook, I'm good at, right? Because I'm old. Y'all are young. Some of y'all are young. But there's a lot of avenues, right? But social media is one of the avenues that I use, right? Sometimes I post about education, about money, right? And I'll get hits. I'll get hits from that, something as simple as, buy term and invest. Everything that we go by, everything we teach. Okay. And also you have to be an example. Are you actually investing too? Do you have a Roth IRA? Do you have insurance? Right? Be an example for your clients. I invest. My whole family invests. We all have life insurance. My children don't even have kids yet. They're not even married, but I know they need it. Why? Because eventually, right? Especially with our family history of cancer, I want to secure that they have something. Okay. Organizations. I don't know how many organizations I'm doing. So many. And like Samir said, I don't trash talk about the business, but I do trash talk when it comes to basketball. I love basketball with a passion. All right. The referees used to already know me like a verb. I used to get thrown out of games, but I trash talk when it comes to basketball. The business, not so much, but I will trash value. Yeah. In a heartbeat. And you know what? You want to be very professional, but oh my God, when I see trash value, it takes the unprofessionalism. I become very unprofessional because I start, all the F-bombs start flying. I can't. It's so bad, right? But going back to joining organizations, basketball, volleyball team, yesterday I met with the president of the Philippine Nurses Association of Maryland, DC, and Virginia, Northern Virginia. And I met with an influencer also. So we have we're trying to brainstorm avenues to help, foreign nurses that come here and they get screwed over their contracts. So what's happening is these nurses are coming here under the premise of thinking they're going to be under good working conditions. And it's almost like human trafficking, right? Because they'll come here, they'll go to a nursing home, it's 1:50. How do you take care of 50 patients at the same time with maybe one technician? Oh my God, that's impossible. That's a way to lose your license very quickly. Okay, I'm in nursing organization. I used to be a nurse. For those who do not know, I was a nurse for almost 26 years. I worked in the OR, I worked in dialysis, urgent care, all that stuff. But I continue to join organizations because again, the more organizations you're in, the more people you touch, right? Volunteer. I like or be volunteer. Like yesterday when I met with the president of the PNA, she said, "Oh Sheila, by the way, I heard you're an amazing person. Okay, and I want you to be one of the chairmen, chair of membership, because they said that you are an influencer, whatever." And I'm like, "Who said that?" And she said, "No, you're a volunteer. Somebody volunteered you. Not a bad thing, right? But you volunteer, you do good work, I'm big in outreach programs, especially back home. I do mission trips. They just stopped with COVID, right? And build genuine relationships. You don't want to be that fake ass friend, okay? You really want to be genuine, and people, again, it will resonate. You can't fake being genuine, right? You just have to continue to build those relationships. And you know what? I know it's kind of hard when you're kind of new or whatever, you're young. You might not have true genuine relationships yet, but you can develop that, okay? Or borrow somebody's story, right? We have so much, within this hierarchy alone, There's just so many stories, right? Exhibit confidence. Okay, product knowledge. I always emphasize this, right? How could you present to somebody when you don't know your products? Like you present it with confidence, right? When you're confident when presenting your products, guess what? You will build that credibility and that trust within, your clients. Do you believe your own products? Because if you don't believe your own products, how the hell are you going to sell it? Like I said, you got to have the products too. You got to make sure you're investing, right? You got to make sure that you're protecting your family, okay? Will our products help with their needs? Absolutely. How many people do you think in your network, right, have investments? Like, are they actually, do they have retirement accounts? Are they protecting their families? Everybody needs education about finances. And, as we have emphasized before, the schools have failed us. They don't teach us about money. They don't teach us about, budgeting, taxes, entrepreneurship. And this is what they provide here, right? I mean, like you said, you bring him to Shaq, he tackles everything in like an hour, right? It's important. And then you got to practice your craft, right? Like obviously, I mean, how long did it take before I started presenting to my own clients?
2 years.
That's tight. Tight for you to do it for me, right? Yeah. So practice your craft. But now, I call you every now and then. I call him every day, like multiple times a day, but it's worth it, right? So, yes. All right. Credibility and honesty. All right. Again, what is credibility? The quality of being trusted and believed in. Now I'm telling you right now, every person that bought a trash value policy came from somebody they trusted and believed. Right. And this is why you don't have the credibility. If you have the product knowledge, then guess what? That credibility of that person that sold in the trash value goes out the window. Can people trust you? Do they believe you? And are you truthful? We're always truthful, right? And here's the one thing that I've learned also, right? When I do quotes, you see that there's like 1 to 4 for female and 1 to 6 to male. I give them a range because the last thing I want to do is say, you always say you want to do not over promise and under deliver. You want to under promise and over deliver, right? Because here's what happens. Have you seen those ads in like on everywhere, right? Oh, for $15 you can get $1 million of coverage all the time, right? So sometimes I get a client and say, hey, I saw this ad, right? And I'll say, well, did you actually apply? Right? Most of the people that apply there, it's a bait and switch. They'll say you'll get this, but once you actually apply and you've gone through the process, it's a lot more than what they're saying. I give you a quote based on, this to this, it's a range because it could happen. I can't say that it's going to be the cheapest, but I can't say that it's going to be this. I said it depends on the underwriting team. So just be truthful. Even if it's higher, right? It's like we have to basically use 4 or 6. Like we can't go, we can't use the better rank, the better rate. But you know what? If I say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Client, your premium can be anywhere between $40 to $80, right? But I put you on $80 for now, and it's $60. Are you going to be happy? You're going to be happy, right? But if I say, Mr. and Mrs. Client, you're definitely going to get $40, and then underwriting comes out with $80, are you going to be pissed off? You're going to be pissed off, right? So, got to be dependable and reliable. My rule for all of my clients, I will get back with you within 24 hours. Okay. If I'm not answering the call, the text, it's because either I'm with a client already, I'm driving because I don't text when I drive. Don't do that. And I always tell them, if I tell them I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it for them. If I say that I do what I say and I say what I do, right? That's how you also build credibility. Okay. Are you responsive? Are clients calling you and you're not getting back to them? They're not going to do business with you. Okay. And be timely. Sometimes I have issues, but be timely, right? You tell me all the time, you're early because you got a guest, right? I have to be timely. All right. You got to be optimistic and upbeat. You know what people don't like? boring people. Like you presenting like this. Oh yeah, this is trash value. You know how I present trash value? I present it with a passion. I start dropping F-bombs because it pisses me off. It makes me sick. And literally, the only thing I need to do is throw up in front of them to make it known that this, what you have, is not good for you, right? You don't want to be boring, but at the same time, you want to be optimistic. Sometimes if the people don't have the money, guess what? You can say, look, there are ways to, to do this, right? You don't have the money right now, maybe we can have a budget for you, okay? Don't let the objections get to your rejections. You know what you have to do is overcome those objections. And if you know every product, you will overcome every objection. Have you ever heard people say, oh, living benefits? All the time, right? Oh, you don't have living benefits. Well, don't you know that that's why you invest? You don't have to die to use your investments. Well, did you know that if you had a trash value, if you wanted to borrow your own money, you got to pay interest to insurance company? It doesn't go back to you. Is that stupid? But they didn't know that, right? But that's every single one of them. Okay, rejections. What do I say about rejection? I got to a point where I don't care because I know this is good for you. If you don't want it, next. I don't care. Next, next, next. Who cares, right? There are how many people know in the, how many? 5 something? So many people out there. One person, that rejection, that objection, that's not going to kill your business. Next. Don't let that get to you. I've been rejected. Trust me, I have. Any questions? Okay. Thank you so much.